Alright. Alrighty guys. So I'm gonna be showing you my favorite and the best path with Kayn. Now if you guys haven't seen, I've been playing in Korea, but I wanted to show you basically how I clear as a Korean Kayn main now. But essentially it's actually very straightforward. It's something that people have probably done before, but I'm kind of gonna explain the value behind it and kind of just all the instead of it just being the initial first clear. See, whenever I talk about a path, I don't talk about like the initial first clear. Wait, look, we're both YouTubers. YouTube. I gotta go set up a defensive board. Sorry, my friend. I'd love to do a little dance with you. But either way, it's gonna be a standard Raptor start full clear. Now, step one with this clear, you always want to get vision of your opposite side, because this will prevent any form of hard invading. So if he tries to invade my blue, my wolves, my gromp, we'll be able to see him. I will be able to know, and that would basically just say, okay, if he's invading me, I'm gonna go invade him. So you're never gonna get punished for doing this clear. You're rarely ever gonna get invaded. If you were to get invaded, all you would have to do is just go straight to their camps to invade back. So pretty convenient in that regard. So as Kayn, you want to start your Q, and you want to Q up towards this red buff wall. And you're going to get your E immediately after clearing. And we're just going to start the Krugs here. And gotta make sure that you should be done with this around like 203, 202, so I'm a little bit quicker. And then we're gonna smite this camp to make it come to me a little bit faster. And the reason why you skip your red and you go to your Krugs is because I'm gonna clear my camps more than once before I reset. My topside camps, that is. And I want my Krugs to spawn right after my Raptors. So it's all about spawn timers. And now you're going to use your E to go from here to here to here. And this will save you a lot of time. And then you want to use your Q. And notice I put 2 in my Q, which will help me clear it faster. And clearing faster is really important because this clear is all about farming, right? And the reason why this clear, I call it the best clear, is because of consistency. In a lot of matchups and a lot of games, you're not going to find consistency through ganking laners. You're going to find consistency from how efficient you can path. Because your laners, you can't really control how good or bad they're going to do. By the way, once this is sub 400 HP, you go over to this blue, you smite it, you auto it twice, and then you Q to the right like that. Make sure you practice this in practice tool before you try this in a game, because this is a clear that could definitely go wrong for you. So now we can kind of check bot scuttle, assuming that there's a play here. We could also maybe look for a play in mid. Yeah, I kind of had a feeling Nafir would be here. So notice that she's there. This would mean that she probably started Raptors too, and I could probably just invade her Raptors back. Reset quad, thanks for the reset, welcome back. But getting her flash is really important. I think as a jungler, you do always want to prioritize getting sums like this. Okay, well, she actually did not start her Raptor, she started her red. Very interesting. Odds that she takes my Krugs here is pretty high. So maybe it'd be smarter for me to just run straight to her Krugs or reset and run straight to her Raptors, but I'll check it just in case. Yeah, because I'm thinking I could stop her reset and I keep her on the map longer. It kind of denies her potential for an early play or something of the sorts. And now she's kind of stuck on an overstay here. And notice that my team can kind of walk up with me here. So if you notice how quickly Nafiri was there and her CS count, She was at 24 CS, which means that she did indeed skip a camp. Means that we're able to get the scuttle. So we're going to be going the same build that we went last game, the build I told you guys about, my new solo carry red Kayn build. Something that I've been utilizing a lot while I've been in Korea. And yeah, we're going to go voltaic and boots, and you can notice that we go blue smite as opposed to green or red smite. And you can see my runes, Dark Harvest, Precision. Now another fun fact about this build, I didn't actually mention this last game while I was doing the build explanation, which I probably should have, but it's okay. Is that I could actually go blue form if I wanted to. I don't have to go red. I could guarantee that this Neferi is going to be down here. I can guarantee it. Because she sees what I see. She sees low HP bot laners. So I'm gonna kind of sit here and wait like a human ward while I wait for them to shove, and then I'll wait to look for a dive. Seeing as they have no heal. I could kind of just wait for my E here. Now watch this. This is where the fun part begins. Well, he could let me get the solo kill, but it's fine. I understand his greed there. Yeah, I'm actually not going to stick around. This Neferi is going to run straight here and probably try to contest that camp. So I'm just going to run straight to my top side here. And get that. That should be good. You can see how close I am to my form. So, like I said, this path is all about consistency. Notice how I'm able to kind of play the game. I'm able to kind of have a equally strong early game as opposed to most champions that will destroy you in the early game. You know, your Pantheons, your Lee Sins, your Graves, Viego. I actually ban Viego. I think the champion's a little bit too high tempo to handle, but you know, any kind of early game champion. And now you're probably wondering, oh, do you only do this clear into these demographic of champions? No, because a farm heavy playstyle is not a bad idea at all into a what do we call it? A farm heavy jungler, because it's one of the best ways to kind of keep up with them. But let's go get our topside camps here. Yeah, because she was bot side, died, went directly bot side again, so this would mean that he could not have cleared his top side camps, correct? Now, something I do want to kind of mentally remind you guys of is that, one second, is that I did not get a reset off yet, so I'm not as strong as I may seem, or as I should seem to be. I think TF should have maybe ulted down there. Or TP'd, sorry. Yeah, probably. I want Lucian to go to lane, but I want Braum to check my camps. There you go. Oh, nice, sweet. So whenever you're playing a little bit of a higher tempo playstyle, which I'm going to be, because I need to solo carry this game, we're actually going to opt to huh. Interesting. I got form off that. That's really good for me. I was gonna say we look to only farm 2 grubs as opposed to 3, but I only got the 1, which is fine. Cause hey, you know what? I got my form and I didn't die, and they didn't get dragon, and they didn't get my bot side. It's a win-win-win-win-win-win-win. All right. And yeah, I think it's time we get this, and this, and this. Wonderful. Got my Raptors, and I get all my bot side camps. Really had to question who that's going to be worth for after I got all of her top side. And I know, I could also just run straight to her bot side and look for an invade back. But the thing is, I don't have my ulti, so I will wait. Well, she's still over there. Still over there. Worst comes to worst, I could play for my life, is what I'd say. That's how I consider the play to play out. I think the faster you get the dragons, the better. So notice that first dragon in 10 minutes is pretty late. Now, believe it or not, this is actually the norm in Korea. This is the norm. You actually do not play for early dragons. No one does. Because tempo as a jungler is the most important thing because it's such a snowbally meta. So you always play to just win the jungle. And the way that you win the jungle is from ganking, from farming. You know, it's not from getting dragon, because dragon doesn't give you gold nor XP, but now that I'm so ahead of her, I can start stacking dragons, which puts pressure into the mid to late game. And also will work towards winning us the feats of strength, so it's a win-win. I wouldn't mind looking for a mid play, but I do want to wait for Braum. Rodom is here. Oh wow, look how far she's walking up there, huh? Huh. Very interesting.
Say I'm toxic.
Ooh, a freebie. I like free kills. Yeah, as you can imagine, as this game progresses, I'm just gonna get stronger and stronger. And the stronger and stronger I become, the harder I'm gonna become to handle. But as you can see, I mean, I feel like my pathing's been pretty good this game because I've been able to have, you know, pretty high impact, securing more objectives than the enemy, and also having more KP than the enemy, and also having more CS than the enemy. And now you're probably thinking, oh, well, you know, that doesn't seem too intense. You know, my CS isn't too high, my KP isn't too insane. But no, the thing is that people have to factor is that I am doing all this into a losing early game matchup. Kayn doesn't win early game matchups, so when you're able to do a path that wins you early game matchups, that's where you really have to be thinking, oh, okay, this is really good. Okay, this makes a lot of sense now. I want to give Yoni the kill there. TF not so much, but you know what? Sure, why not? Yeah, the reason why I want to give Yoni the kill is because even though I am playing to solo carry, it's actually easier to carry games whenever your team has a little bit of pressure to apply themselves. So I'm not gonna like play the front line for the Yoni or the Lucian, but you know, helping them out, you know, help me, help you, type of mindset, I would say. It's kind of how it plays out in my head. Now, wow. TP really came in handy for them, huh? Alright. So, sometimes, you know, it's still early in the game. Think about the build like this. With blue Kayn, you're not going to try to 100 to 0 everybody with one item. At least I hope you don't. At least I hope you don't. So, with red Kayn with 1.5 item, I'm not going to try to go into a 1v3 and kill everybody. I'm going to play it tactical, you know, I'm going to play it smart. I'm going to use my brain. And in doing that, I could have a lot more impact. because you saw that fight. I kind of played it out. I played it slow, kind of baited them in. I knew the Aatrox would come after me if he saw me in vision going to the wolves, and he didn't know that I had Yoni right behind me. And the enemy team didn't factor in that TF was going to go behind them. So it was two massive disrespects towards my teammates that the enemies kind of got baited in there. See, fortunately, playing in Korea, there's kind of an unspoken bond between teammates. Not every game, because some games you just get straight up inted. It's kind of funny. Sometimes you will just straight up get inted. That happens a lot more than you probably imagine. But I don't judge the server nor the players off those, you know, the anomaly of a few players, correct? Every region has inters, but whenever the teammates are good and whenever the Sinji's good, oh, it's really good. So my team was kind of able to be on the same page as me without me having to communicate anything whatsoever, and yeah, it worked out pretty well in our favor. Now, if we're gonna play for the dragon, I think usually the way that you want to look to play is through mid, and then you can look to go for the objectives.
By the way, this was Karasmai, who would unironically win this game.
Quite unfortunate. Actually, they probably could have saved that guy. Wow. I think I ran out of plays there, so I'm out. What's up, RC Boom? Thanks to the Prime. Welcome to the best Kayn club, my friend. Now, normally I'm not too big of a fan of this part of the game where I have to get anti-heal, but I feel like I definitely need to get anti-heal. So typically when you're playing more of a solo carry playstyle, you want to get Executioner because it itemizes into more damage. But yeah, we'll get anti-heal after 2 items, and then we'll get Grudge next. All right. Let's start up the dragon. Need to make sure their MF dies. So they're getting full ultis off because of the Rakan. Which means I need to do a better job of knocking up that Rakan before he gets in on my team. Which isn't an easy job, but it's the job that's meant for me, I would say. They're going to be around top side of the map here. You can tell by how fresh that vision is. Beyond fresh. Was able to salvage most of my camps though for the most part.
I'm not like everyone else. I'm better.
Alright. Alright. Big knockup. Nice. Oh, there you go. So, lots of damage. Also, I'm still pretty tanky because you sustain based off of damage dealt. So, all things considered, this build's pretty good. This playstyle's also pretty good. It's bathing. Decision making, all that, you know. And now, believe it or not, I actually haven't even hit my spike. Your spike is when you get Last Whisper and then when you get your Grudge. So this is honestly not even me at my solo carry potential. This is just me in the early game where I'm a little bit stronger than the average player, than the average enemy. Alright. So now we want to set our sights on the Otacon. Yeah, that's the big importante right here. Definitely want to set your sights to playing for Otacon every game, I think. Should never look to give Otacon. It's like a last resort move. Because you're basically always going to be playing on your back foot if you give that Otacon. Not a good idea. We honestly just started, me and Yoni. We do have a lot of damage between the two of us. Saying that Nafir's on the opposite side of the map, I assume that she wants to take my topside camps. I figure if she wants 2 topside camps for an Otacon, I'll give it to her. Which she did. It's a fine trade for me. Oh, her top laner took her camp, so I wouldn't take it.
It's all blood, sweat, and tears.
Understandable. So really at this point of the game we can kind of play that whole slow but steady wins the race mindset, because they're the ones who are pressured to make plays. They're the ones that are pressured to kind of close this game out, right? They have to try and do things into us. We're slowly just, you know, applying pressure left and right. That's why I'll be getting into the MF here. Nice. Yeah, so sometimes just W in the recon and then being able to get in the MF. Like I said, pretty good idea. I'm surprised it didn't go for me. I had my W ready, so you would like instantly get CC'd. I guess he respected me in that regard, where he thought, oh yeah, this guy's just gonna insta-CC me.
Your team has destroyed a turret.
Be a little greedy. And so is that Ari. If you're wondering why I didn't reset, the difference between me having a Warhammer and not really too big of a difference when I'm 8-0. When I'm this ahead, like, yeah, sure, if I thought the game was really close, I thought this fight would be really close, I could do something different here, right? I just don't think it's that close. I honestly just don't think so. Matter of fact, I would consider this game to be over, and if you're a Twitch chatter watching this game, you can type one singular G in the chat, because this game is 100% over. It's been over ever since I had an early lead on the Nefiri. That's the kind of confidence you could have when you're playing a champ such as Red Kayn. And like I said, with this new build, new playstyle, you're pretty much just guaranteeing that you're a jack of all trades. You know, you've got the early skirmish power, you have the team fight power, you have the objective control. Any melee champion is basically just nothing to you. And if you're wondering, oh, what do I do if they have a bunch of ranged champs? Well, clearly, at that point, you should maybe learn what Kayn does. You should maybe look into his passive, because there's actually 2 forms. One of them is good for melee champs, and the other one's good for ranged
glad
champs.
to catch you on Love Heart.
So if you're thinking that this form and this playstyle will work into ranged champs, I think you're forgetting about the other form. Yo, Yusuf, thanks for the resub. Welcome back, buddy. Glad to see you, buddy. Alright. Next item I would probably go, well, maybe Edge of Night. Always like to go Edge of Night. I feel like it's a pretty good item. Definitely feeling like I want to fight the enemies kind of situation here. I had a flash W angle, but Nefiri's not going to get hit by it just for con. I'm not going to flash W to knock up a support. hate to break it to you, it's just not a good idea. It just... Yoni's one of the best turn champs in the game for turning for an objective, so I think if we wanted to, we could just look to do that. Cool. See, notice that you could just stop and go on the objective. GG's! Hope you boys enjoyed.